Jenny, you just caught me. I'm reading one of my favorite books, Born Reading. This is a book we bought when our children were very little, just to help instill a love for reading. And we've been reading to our kids since day one. The problem with reading since day one is that we've accumulated a ton of books. And I don't know if your kids are anything like mine, but they tend to read the same ones over and over again. So do you have too many books and don't want to get rid of them like me? Stay tuned. I'm going to give you all the information on how I do book rotation. So essentially, book rotation would basically just involve going through your children's books. And I do recommend that if your children are old enough to have some input, to go through these with them. Going through these books with my children was so helpful because they were able to tell me, hey, I don't actually really like this book, and I could kind of use my discretion and say, okay, let's see about this book. Should we keep it? Will you be interested in it in the future? Will another sibling of yours be interested in it at a later date? Maybe you're just not interested in it right now. And so what we did was we separated the books according to books that we still want to keep, but we just don't want to read right now. Books that we no longer want, so we donated those. And then we also just separated according to holiday season. I do always have books that are specifically for holidays, like I keep the January till April books together, and then kind of the summer books together, and then also like the fall holidays from like September to December. So like that would be any sort of fall books, Thanksgiving, Halloween, and then Christmas, of course, Hanukkah, whatever holiday that you celebrate in December. But this sort of keeps it, we have those in separate bins so that it keeps all of those organized. And then I have different language books that we keep in another bin, which really helps. But going through these books with my kids was really so helpful because we were able to go through so many and just separate them. And what we did was we just put them in our attic. And so then every couple months you can just rotate them and then decide if you want to keep them or not. Like I said, I have a hard time with books because they're so, they can just offer us so much, and just because they're not interested in it right now, you might want a book on whales, or you might want a book on dinosaurs that maybe they're just not interested right now, but you might find it interesting later. I think that books can be really interesting to keep and reference, but there were just too many in my children's room that there was just no way we could go through all of them, even in just a month or a year. And so we just took those out, and it just keeps everything organized. And then the kids know exactly where to put things back, which is really helpful. So this is me working through all of the books with my kids, and it was so helpful to involve them. They had so much input. The idea was to put everything in this small bookshelf that you see here that looks like a little house, and then use those two other fabric bins to put holiday books that they like for right now and different language books. It worked out quite well. Final product, you can see the bookshelf that I've got here, and at the top here, the top left-hand side are all of the board books that I've got in there. I've got more board books in our bedroom, but the ones here on the right are like I can read type of books that are just more narrow. And then these two bins here are all soft cover books. We just try and keep them so that it's all going to fit in there without having any sort of overflow. And then this basket here is chapter books, and then my daughter keeps a bunch of chapter books in her bed because she reads through them very quickly. And then these are hardcover books down here at the bottom. It works out really well, and it doesn't seem to have some overflow, which is great. So here in these two bins, this one has the holiday books that they wanted to keep out now, potty training, books that I just didn't want to have every single holiday book, so we just had to separate them. The rest of them are in our attic, separated according to holiday. And then these are Italian books that keep them all separated so we don't have like a babysitter and them picking out a book that they can't read and whatever else. It works out really well to have it separate like that. So that's it for the book decluttering. It was it was a wonderful little experiment. I didn't know how it was going to work out. I thought maybe I would do it on my own, but considering that it was in their room, it was sort of challenging to do while they were, if they were sleeping, it would be too loud. It just wasn't going to work. So having their input was so important. And we were able to get rid of some things that I knew that were in poor quality, that we weren't going to use, that we weren't ever going to be interested in, and then really just take the other books. And the idea is to then take those books that I put in the attic and then bring them back, and so just switch them out. So we'll do that in a few months and just see how it all works, and then kind of go from there and then reassess. It's, with kids, life really everything's very fluid, so you have to almost have everything, understand that it's just not always going to stay the same, and just know that the less you have to deal with, the more manageable it will be, which is how I've figured for this book rotation would be. It just seemed to make more sense for me to just get rid of all of them, because there was just no possible way we could use all of them at once. So anyway, I hope that you were able to learn something from this, and maybe if you were able to do it, let me know how it goes or it's going in the comments below. If you have a different way of doing that, at least let me know about that as well. I'd love to hear from you. Thanks so much for watching. Have a great day.